Have you ever woken up in the morning with a bloated stomach, a heavy feeling, as if your insides were at war with you? Not a sharp pain, but a nagging, gnawing pain, a silent reminder that something is wrong. Linda, 67, who lives outside Austin, Texas, once whispered to me during a health consultation, her eyes red, "I don't want anyone to know. But sometimes I feel embarrassed in my own home. My stomach makes weird noises. I have gas, diarrhea, constipation. I don't know what to eat. I'm afraid of fruit. I used to think it was old age, but I don't believe I have to live like this forever." Linda's story is not uncommon. Millions of adults over 60 in the US are living with an imbalanced gut microbiome without even knowing it. They suffer from bloating, indigestion, constipation, digestive disorders, even anxiety and depression, without anyone telling them that the cause can come from an unexpected place, a sleeping gut. Yes, you heard right. Doctors at the Mayo Clinic have warned that when the gut is out of balance, digestion slows down, good bacteria die off, and the gut's immune barrier becomes weak. That's when the sleeping gut happens, meaning your digestive system becomes sluggish, and no longer protects you as it used to. What's the result? The body starts to react. Chronic inflammation silently sets in. Skin darkens, memory fades, weight gains despite eating very little. Blood pressure creeps up, cholesterol refuses to drop. And it all starts in the gut. It seems simple, but in fact the gut is the second brain of the human being, the place that controls hormones, emotions, and even immune health. So why does this happen as we age? The reason is that after age 40, the number of natural good bacteria in the gut begins to decline. Digestive enzymes, the workers that help process food, also decrease in production. A low-fiber diet, antibiotic use, packaged foods, refined sugar, all are killing off your good microbiome. And here's the heartbreaking thing. No one tells you this. Linda told me that for 10 years, she tried everything from expensive probiotics to digestive drugs, but the results were only temporary. "I didn't want to live on pills," she said. "I wanted to know, is there a way to naturally restore my gut health?" The answer is yes. And it doesn't start in the pharmacy. It starts on your plate. A study from the Harvard School of Public Health followed more than 70,000 adults for 20 years and found that those who ate more fiber-rich plant foods, especially naturally fermented foods, not only improved their gut health, but also reduced their risk of death from all causes by 30%. Let me tell you about a miracle food that Linda started adding to her breakfast every day, and after just 2 weeks, she felt like her stomach had never been tortured before. It was homemade Greek yogurt unsweetened, with chia seeds and a handful of fresh blueberries. Sounds simple, right? But it was the combination of live probiotics from the yogurt, soluble fiber from the chia, and antioxidants from the blueberries that reawakened her gut. Every cell in her gut felt like it was being reborn. Her gas decreased, her skin cleared up, her mood stabilized, and best of all, she started losing weight without eating any less. You see, food is not the enemy. It is medicine if you choose it right. So why do most seniors eat wrong? Why do we cut out fruit for fear of sugar, avoid milk for fear of bloating, eat white bread for easy digestion, when those very things are crippling our microflora? It's not your fault. It's the outdated advice and the ads that promise fast weight loss that ignore the core factor. To live long and healthy, you have to start with your gut. I remember that afternoon at Linda's house. She offered me a strange juice, not sweet, a little sour and pale purple. "This is my homemade coconut kefir," she chuckled. "I used to be afraid of drinking anything fermented because I was afraid of getting a stomachache. But now, I love what my body used to reject." Kefir, a fermented milk containing dozens of live bacteria, changed Linda's gut. And she's not alone. A 2020 study at Stanford University found that after just 10 weeks of drinking kefir every day, participants had a significant improvement in the diversity of their gut microbiota, along with a reduction in chronic inflammation, a culprit behind a host of age-related diseases. But don't worry if you don't like kefir. There are dozens of easy-to-eat, age-friendly fermented foods in the US. Natural sauerkraut, not the kind sold in jars with industrial vinegar, but the traditional, refrigerated fermented kind. A spoonful at lunch, and you've just loaded up on millions of live probiotics. Korean kimchi, yes, it's spicy, but you can get the milder, less garlicky kind. It contains Lactobacillus plantarum, a proven warrior that helps reduce bloating and constipation in older adults. Plain yogurt, preferably Greek, which is lower in lactose and higher in protein. Add crushed walnuts and a pinch of cinnamon and you have a miracle drug for both the gut and the heart. Miso, this Japanese bean paste, can be mixed with warm water to make miso soup. It not only aids digestion, but can also soothe inflammatory bowel disease in older adults, according to research from the Tokyo Nutrition Center. But don't think that just eating fermented foods is enough. Your gut is a jungle, and probiotics are living things that need to be fed properly. If you just supplement probiotics without feeding them, they will die. And what do they eat? Fiber. But not all of it is the same. The fiber your gut needs to live a long, healthy life is prebiotic. That is, fiber that is not digested in the stomach, but becomes a favorite food for beneficial bacteria in the colon. Think of it this way. Every time you eat a green or underripe banana, you're sending a loving signal to your gut. The resistant starch in green bananas feeds good bacteria and increases calcium absorption, great for people with osteoporosis. Or take rolled oats. When you soak them overnight in water or almond milk and refrigerate them, they begin to ferment slightly and produce beta-glucan, a prebiotic that's been shown to lower cholesterol, stabilize blood sugar, and improve gut bacteria. Garlic and onions, yes, two ingredients that are always in your kitchen. They contain inulin, a great prebiotic fiber. Instead of deep frying them, just saute them or toss them raw in your salad and you've given your gut a gift that no one else will see, but your body will definitely feel. Notice anything strange? None of these foods are expensive. None of them require a prescription. And it's all at your fingertips, in your local supermarket, in your kitchen. Why are they so neglected? Because modern society has turned health into a market. We're lured into buying supplements instead of rediscovering vegetables. We believe that old age means digestive problems, when in fact, the gut can heal at any age if you feed it the right things. Linda says that after 6 weeks of switching her breakfast to Greek yogurt, cold-soaked oats, kefir and sauerkraut for lunch, she not only had regular bowel movements, but also better sleep. I no longer wake up at 3 a.m. with a stomachache, she says. Every morning I feel a little younger. You see, the gut doesn't just process food, it sends signals to the brain. 90% of serotonin, the feel-good hormone, is produced in the gut. When your gut is healthy, you're happier. When your gut is inflamed, you're more likely to be irritable, anxious, and depressed. It's not just a feeling. A study from the American Gut Project found that people with a diverse and healthy gut microbiome have a 40% lower risk of depression. Remember this, you don't need to wait for someone to give you permission to be healthy. You don't need to wait until your doctor says it's too late. Just one small change, a jar of sauerkraut, oatmeal for breakfast, a warm glass of kefir at night, can wake up your gut every day. Feeling overwhelmed? I know. It sounds simple, eat yogurt, sauerkraut, oatmeal, but when you open the fridge and hold the menu in your hand, the question remains, where do I start? Am I doing it right? Linda has seen it too. The first week, she went to the supermarket, bought everything, kefir, fermented vegetables, oats, berries. Then she came home, stood bewildered in front of the kitchen. What to do with them now? Don't worry. I will guide you gently and practically from what I and my elderly patients have applied. The first step, don't change everything at once. Just start with breakfast. Do you know why? Because breakfast is the place we can control the most. It is not affected by work, appointments, family meals. And with just 5 minutes of preparation, you can start the whole intestinal microflora for a new day. Simple gut-repairing breakfast ideas. -1 cup plain Greek yogurt. 1 tablespoon ground chia or flax seeds. 1 slightly green banana or half an apple. -1 pinch of cinnamon. 1 tablespoon coconut. Mix it together and you've just loaded up on prebiotic fiber, probiotics, digestive enzymes, and omega-3 fatty acids, all in one small bowl. The first week, focus on breakfast alone. Your body needs time to adjust. Don't force your gut to run a marathon when it's still learning to walk. Week 2, add a fermented item to lunch or dinner. This could be -1 tablespoon of naturally fermented sauerkraut, make sure it says live cultures on the label. Or a few slices of kimchi, or half a cup of warm miso soup. Or a few slices of traditional pickled cucumber, also fermented. not to be confused with the vinegar pickled kind. You don't need much. Just a small amount provides millions of live bacteria. Remember, a little variety is better than trying to squeeze a lot at once. Week 3. Add cold-soaked oats to your diet 2 to 3 times a week. Linda soaks 1/2 cup of rolled oats in 1/2 cup of unsweetened almond milk overnight in a mason jar. The next morning, she adds some frozen blueberries, a few banana slices, and a few sunflower seeds. Not only is it delicious, but it's easy to digest. I don't feel bloated after eating, she says. Important note: don't soak your oats in dairy milk if you're lactose intolerant. Choose almond milk, oat milk, or water. Week 4. Check your pantry. Is there anything to remove? You see, sometimes it's not about adding in, but about taking out. White bread, instant noodles, salty snacks. Bottles of zero-calorie soda that contain aspartame or sucralose. Sweetened yogurts that say low-fat but contain 17 grams of sugar per cup. These are the things that are silencing your gut. They don't feed the good bacteria. They increase the bacteria that cause inflammation, which causes bloating, constipation, and blood sugar problems, the very thing you're trying to improve. What's a common mistake older adults make? Linda made this mistake. She bought probiotics in pill form, took them every day for 2 months, and didn't change her diet. The result? No change. Here's what both the Mayo Clinic and Harvard emphasize: probiotics don't work unless you feed them. It's like buying precious seeds and throwing them on concrete. You need both. Probiotics live bacteria and prebiotics fiber that feeds the bacteria. That's why a spoonful of sauerkraut plus a bowl of oatmeal plus a handful of chia seeds is more effective than any pill. What should you expect in the first 30 days? A lighter stomach, more regular, easier bowel movements, less bloating after meals, deeper sleep. And, my favorite, a feeling of being reconnected to your own body. You won't see dramatic changes like in the movies. But one morning you wake up and realize, I no longer have a stomach ache after dinner last night. One afternoon you realize, I don't need coffee to stay awake. One day your child calls and says, Mom, you sound happier these days. Linda once told me, when I take care of my gut, it's like I'm 50 years old. Reviving aging power from the gut and the secrets of a self-healing body. Here's one thing I've come to believe after working with hundreds of older patients in Iowa, Michigan, and the mountains of Arkansas. Your body never leaves you, even when you're 60, 70, or 85. The problem is you don't hear its quiet call anymore. And it's a very small call. It whispers when you wake up tired after 8 hours of sleep. It cries out when you're struggling with chronic constipation and still afraid to go to the doctor. It groans when you eat something and your stomach feels bloated, tight, nauseous. But you chalk it up to old age. I just have to deal with it. No, you don't have to deal with it. Because the things that make you tired, irritable, foggy, gain weight for no apparent reason, most of them are not caused by aging. They start in your gut. And luckily, your gut is always ready to regenerate if you treat it like a true friend. I remember a patient, Robert, 78, from Phoenix, Arizona. He called me after 3 months of following the gut eating plan. On the phone, his voice was shaking. Doctor, I biked 7 miles with my grandson today. No breaks. First time in 12 years. You know what changed? Not drugs. Not surgery. Not expensive therapy. He just changed the way he fed his gut. We've talked a lot about probiotics, about raw foods, about soluble fiber. But there's one last thing. Maybe the most important thing, something that's not in a bowl of soup or a jar of yogurt. The belief that you can get better. Why do I say this? Because I've seen 70-year-olds change their bowels and come off most of their blood pressure medication. I've seen an 83-year-old woman who had IBS for 40 years now travel with her daughter without worrying about the bathroom every 30 minutes. I've seen older people cry as they tell me, I thought I was hopeless. But now I'm not just digesting better, I'm really alive again. You know, we've been taught wrong. That old age is a time of decline, a time when the body goes downhill, when everything becomes hard. Yes, things are different, but different doesn't mean over. Your body is still making new cells every day. The bacteria in your gut are still growing, still communicating with your brain, your heart, your immune system. And if you give them the right environment, they'll help you come back. This is not a miracle. This is biology. This is the medicine of hope. And that hope starts with the smallest action. It could be saying no to white bread tonight. It could be adding a spoonful of flax seeds in your oatmeal. Maybe it's the moment you buy a jar of sauerkraut instead of a soda. Or maybe it's this moment when you're watching this video and you realize, I'm not broken. I just need to be fed again. You don't have to be a nutritionist. You don't have to run a marathon. You just need to love your body again from the inside out. Because you have people who need you to be healthy. Your children, your spouse, people you've never met, but who will be inspired by your story. You can be the one who spreads hope. You can be the Linda, the Robert, the Alan, who proves that even at 75, your body can start over. And it all starts in the gut, with a glass of kefir in the morning, with a warm bowl of oatmeal instead of a cake, from the belief that you can still do what's best for you today. If this video makes you feel connected to your body again, leave a comment saying I choose gut care, so we can create a community of people living well after 40, inside and out. And if you know someone who struggles with digestion, uncontrollable weight gain, or just feels out of themselves, share this video with them. Because you're not just sharing information, you're giving hope.